Hello and welcome to the Mad Leprechaun. My name is Mert Walsh. Recently I popped to a former BMW dealership. I wanted to buy myself a new t-shirt or maybe a hoodie. I ended up buying one of these, which is clearly neither a t-shirt or a hoodie. Join me after the intro where I try and fit my new t-shirt. Well, thank you ever so much for sticking around. I have a BMWR1250GSA 40th anniversary. Now there was an option with that bike to get an optional extra billet pack. Some of the billet came with my bike. I spec'd this bike up in the middle of COVID, so we weren't allowed to go into the shop. We weren't allowed to look through kind of the computer and all that sort of stuff. And basically my bike didn't come with the front billet pack and the mirrors, which, if I'm honest, I've driven my wife mental about ever since I've picked my bike up. So yeah, I popped into Reiten Motorrad recently, and I did actually buy myself and my wife a new hoodie and a t-shirt. And whilst I was paying for the hoodie, I looked behind the salesman's head, and on the shelf behind his head was this box. Okay, so this is the HP billet pack, not the billet pack that would have come on the front engine. It's part of the billet pack that would have been on the HP 1250. It's still billet pack, okay? And I have to say, they did an absolute bargain of a deal, and yeah, and now I'm gonna try and fit it. I thought wrongly it would be a case of just taking off the other one and putting this one on. Unlike the old Airheads and the 1150s and 1000cc boxer engines, if you take the front cover off of this generation boxer engine, the clutch is in there and there's oil in there. So the first job I have to do is... Right, first things first, what I need to do is remove the bash plate, which is located, funnily enough, underneath the engine. I'm going to use this, which is like an Allen key, but not an Allen key. It's actually a Torx 30, because for some reason I don't have a Torx 30 in a socket. So yeah, let's crack on and remove the bash plate. Right, back plate removed. The next thing is to remove this drain plug here and drain all of the oil. I've got an appropriate receptacle ready to receive the oil. I'm not going to take the oil filter off. It's not that long since I had the oil changed. Right, there's nothing else for me to do now except let the oil drain. Go and have a cup of tea. I was told that to be able to get this cover off on the front of the engine, what I need to do is put a single-sided swing on an arm paddock stand underneath the rear wheel. I don't have one. I did dream up of some mad ideas as to how I was going to lift the rear end up and put weight on the front end. The wishbone, obviously, which is in the front of the bike, needs to go up to allow you, access to the bolts on the front of the panel. That's why they said lift up the rear end. Anyway, I don't have a paddock stand, so what did I do? I put a ratchet strap around the top and just tried to make sure that that ratchet strap doesn't go anywhere near any of the bright lines or cables. And I've put two on, one other side. See that? And that has brought the front wheel way up off of the floor. So I put some white in the panniers, so that keeps the bum of, well, it keeps the rear wheel on the floor. Right, I hope that made sense. My next job is to remove all of these bolts. Torx 30. You can just about get in there, but you can only get in there with one of these. There's just not enough room to get a socket in there. It's not very tight. I have loosened these off, but they're not particularly tight anyway. So yeah, the toughest two to get out are obviously these two that are right up at the top. Right, all of the bolts from the front cover are now removed. I've put them to soak, give them a bit of a clean before putting back in again. The next job is obviously to remove this, because there's an amount of sealant between the body of the engine and the panel. It's going to be a bit of a job to get that to go. Right, effectively I have it off, but I just thought I'd show you how I've got it off. I've just made a small piece of wood, a little drift, and I'm using a hammer. And clearly I'm not going to hit the panel with the hammer, but there's a lip just here at the bottom of the front engine case, and just gently give it a tap just to break that seal. And now let me get reposition myself and the camera, and I'll show you what I've just discovered. So when you get your new panel, you look at the inside of it and it's all nice and machined and flat and everything, and this is clearly not on it, and I didn't expect to find this, and this piece of plastic fits around the clutch. So I've got to remove that piece of plastic and fit it to the new panel. So let's get the new panel. Right, this piece of plastic is now removed. It's held on by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stainless steel retaining bolts. On the old panel, engine cover, it's a tiny little locating dowel. There's two of them there. So one there and one there. And they fit. One dowel is over there and the other one is down here. And clearly the clutch goes in here. Right, let's put the bolts back in. Bolt it together. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The face of the engine, there's an amount of silicone sealant will go all the way around, not on the engine, but on the new panel. But I have to make sure that there's no silicone left over. There is a little bit there on that bolt. You see an amount of it just there. So I've got to get rid of all of that silicone.
and give it a proper clean up all the way right round the machine surface before I put the new panel on. Right, I have cleaned all the way right round the edge of the area on the front of the engine where the panel is going to go. I've also given it a clean. This is the new panel. So I've wiped all the way right around the edge and I'm ready to put the silicone sealant on it. Now, I know that some people will tell you that there is a gasket. There isn't. Some kits from some clutch companies will supply a paper gasket. BMW send it out from the factory with silicone sealant. So let's put that sealant in place. Just to be absolutely clear, I'm making sure that this is completely free of oil all the way around. And I'm going to wipe the front of the engine as well to make sure it's as clear of oil at the front, just to give the silicone a proper chance to bond and adhere to the engine and the panel. Okay, right, let's do it. I just thought I'd mention. So there is the silicone that I've been talking about, sealant. It's made for engines, engine covers and the like. So make sure you get the right one. There's different ones for different engine temperatures, so for different positions of the engine. If you're not sure, get some advice on. Right, yeah. So we're not going across the middle on this piece, just going around the edge. Right, the silicone is now applied all the way around, and the next thing is to try and get that back in and onto the front of the engine. Wish me luck. So when I was taking this off, I didn't have the oh, there we go. Wow. Doesn't seem to want to go on. There's two locating lugs on the bottom of the engine. And at the moment, the panel's not finding it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Bingo.
I was going to say, I'm sure that went that time.
Yeah, it's in.
Oh, sorry,
well, thank you ever so much, Glamorous Assistant. And there we go. It's on. Right, I don't know if it's important or not, but I think it's worthwhile saying. What I did was I've cleaned all of the bolts that are going to go into the front of the panel, because there was an amount of silicone on all of them. I just got an appropriate size nut and just ran it up the thread of each one of the bolts, and then just got a microfiber cloth. So now they are all completely clean and there is no silicone on any of them. So there is a torque setting and there is a way of putting them together. I'm going to bosh on and put all of the bolts in the holes, and then I shall put the torque pattern on the screen and the torque setting. Right, so let's get on and do that. Well, there you go. It's in place, all buttoned up. Just need to put the bash plate back on the bottom, do up the drain bolt and put some oil in it. I think I'll save that for tomorrow evening. I'm going to let that silicone go off, but these is all been torqued in. There was a little bit of residue. Silicone came out on the sides, both sides, and I just gave it a little bit of a wipe off. What I would say is, I know that this isn't the correct 40th anniversary billet part of the billet pack. It is clearly the HP billet pack, or part of, but still. One thing I have noted, and probably you may be able to see it on camera, the black of the engine is actually a different colour to the black of the billet front. So that's is what it is. Well, it is now the next day, and as I said yesterday, next thing to do is tighten up the oil drain bung on the bottom of the engine. From memory, that's 48 Newton meters. So I've got my torque wrench already set. So let's torque that up and then get some oil in the engine. Done. 5 bolts, all torque 30. So don't torque them up to 30. That is a Torx 30. Didn't we have a lovely time the time we went to Bangor? Now, when it comes time to putting oil in your engine, if you go underneath the saddle of your bike, now I'm probably telling you how to suck an egg here, but at the risk of patronizing someone somewhere, I'm sorry, but the screwdriver, if you can see that, is part of the screwdriver set, which comes underneath. It's got your Torx on one end and a screwdriver on the other end. And the handle of the screwdriver, you can actually put, there's a hole in the side of this, so you can put your tool in there and then turn. That fits in there like that and turns and removes the oil filter cap. Okay. It's not that long since I serviced my bike, or had my bike serviced rather. I could have just dumped the oil into a very clean container and then put that oil back into the engine again. I haven't done that. I've bought some new oil. In case people are wondering out there in YouTube land what oil the bike takes, it takes 4 litres, I'm told, but don't hold me to that. 540 semi-synthetic oil. Okay, that's what I'm going to put into it. I went to BMW and bought the recommended oil. Mug, I don't know, but peace of mind, 100%. Right, let's put the oil in the engine. Right, because I didn't take the oil filter off of the bike, there should still be an amount of oil in the oil filter. It should still be primed, I hope. So I've put 3 litres in. Hopefully there's no one screaming at the screen as I'm saying this, but I have put 3 litres into the engine. I'm going to try and crank the engine over, leave it settle for a little while the engine oil just settles, and I'll check the level and then top off if I need to. Right, I'm not going to patronise anybody by showing me pouring oil into an engine, but take it from me, I've poured oil into the engine. I did say that I'd put 3 litres in, and I had. I put nearly all of the 4th litre in. There's about 100 millilitres left in the bottom. I ran the bike for about 10 minutes and brought it up to running temperature, and then switched it off, let it sit for about 5 minutes, came back, and this is what I found. So the oil looks like it's spot on in the sight glass. So I'm pleased with that. That's it really. I can't find any oil leaks and everything is back in position. And of course, the nice new piece of billet is on the front of the engine. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it for any particular reason whatsoever, please feel free to leave a thumbs down. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section below, and then hopefully, all being well, I shall see you in the next one. Hopefully, we're going to get out on the road in the very, very near future and start riding the bike. Spring is springing and I'm getting very itchy to get out onto the road. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.